diversionary or specialty programs that you want to institute at that particular level? And obviously, Cliff and Adriana will have opportunities to answer as well.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it, but in 2010, we had some really strong legislation that helped us to develop the Veterans Court program. And the courts throughout Clark County have basically, I don't want to say jumped on, but have decided that that's a pretty important program that we need to develop. And when I was given the opportunity to get developed for the Justice Court, I quickly realized that none of the courts are following the directions of the statutes. So we had to, we got involved with the municipal courts here. They've got a new one in Las Vegas now. Henderson was already on board. Judge Stevens is a retired veteran, and he understood a lot of the interests of the DD-14s and that you needed to know. And then Judge Bell does the district court, and I believe we have one that's kind of on the it's getting going with Judge over in North Las Vegas. Actually, the Boulder City is attempting initiative with it, and so is the North Las Vegas Municipal Court, but they haven't really developed anything to help with that. It's a true treatment court. Of all the courts, it's a true treatment court. When individuals come in there, they have to apply for it. There's a specific requirement that they have to be able to abide by to get out of one court, and then just to get to my court to get evaluated to see whether or not they can go any further. And right now, I've been talking with the district court. I've talked about the fact that the way the statute's set up, it's set up for the district court. It's really not set up for, it doesn't allow, other than by permission of the district court, for the municipal courts or the justice court, the way that the statute reads. Because in the statute it talks about that if something happens in the justice court or in the municipal court, they can apply to the district court to send their individual to the district court. But the district courts were of the opinion that we can't be picking up the municipal cases and all the justice court cases, especially if they come up on a misdemeanor. And so in talking with Judge Bell, who handles it now in district court, she handles all the specialty courts in district court. And I'm talking to Judge Barker, who's the chief now. I told him I had an interest in keeping that and bringing the Clark County ones together, because we have one handling municipal court in Las Vegas, we have one handling municipal court in Henderson, North Las Vegas, but it didn't seem very intelligent when we're talking about efficiency to have one for justice court and for district court when many of the individuals are coming into district court because of felonies, but they're getting to justice court because the DAs are negotiating them down, so it gives me the jurisdiction for it. So I asked about keeping them together so we can pool our resources. Right now, the Veterans Court in Clark County receives 0 funding. Out of all of the specialty courts, that's the one court that gets no funding. You might ask why, and the reason why is because a lot of the resources that we're relying on are coming from the Veterans Administration. The funding you would normally need in a drug court program to send individuals to be tested for drugs and all that is being basically, so I guess to be honest, maybe it wasn't being as clear, the VA is actually covering those costs. But there's no cost that are paid back to the court for my staff and for all the individuals I have in there. Right now I have 30 mentors, and those mentors are all volunteers. They come to court, they have to pay for parking when they're there. I've been working on getting them parking spots, that type of thing. But what I'm trying to do is trying to pull it together so we can pull resources if we're going to get them. I started a 501(c) to help with donations. Like right now, I could ask all of you to give me money for my campaign, but I can't ask you money to get paid for my court. So if you think about it, that's something you can do down the road. But I have a 501(c) program that pays for bus passes and some individuals in there they don't have housing, and we help to put them in housing. And from the beginning to the end, it's an 18-month program. The program is $600 per participant to partake in it, and we guarantee them if we can't get them a job by the time they're done with it, then they don't pay for anything in that program. Program is intense in the beginning with drug and alcohol testing. They're monitored 24 hours a day for the first 2 months unless they test out of it. And then it's just a matter of getting them back into the community, getting them back with their families, getting them back into employment, and get their health together. So it's a true treatment program. In my opinion, coming from the district attorney's office, I will tell you, all the programs that I've dealt with in the past, this one is and I'm not saying that because I'm the one running it, because there's other programs that are doing this. It is truly a treatment program. We have some sanctions we use, but it's not geared for punishment. It's geared for, they actually get released to the point where the case is closed and dismissed, and their record is sealed. So it's when they come out of our program, if they're successful, they come out as if they never went in.
Well, Cliff, assuming you're elected, do you have any specialty court programs or diversionary court programs that you would like to either institute or perhaps build upon the work of others?
Well, as a general principle, I think specialty courts and more intervention in general is a very, very good idea across the board, whether it be drug court, veterans court, handling these, and crime recidivism for that matter. I think the statistics are very high that a small percentage of the people that commit crimes are the ones that commit the additional crimes. And so dealing with having programs that can reduce recidivism, drug treatment, and of course the veterans program are all things I would be in favor of, as well as grander forms of alternative dispute resolution, as we previously discussed. Justice Kephardt has described the veterans court program very well, and I'm wholeheartedly in support of that program and getting the proper funding for it so we can have the resources. I've not been involved with it as he, but I know for a fact there's no real funding. What he tells you there is accurate about have it set up by the legislature, but we don't fund it. And so it's kind of hard to get a program or have a program be successful essentially based on volunteers. So we have to have less litigation when we can and do more things to intervene. And a lot of our societal problems are drug related, whether they're being committed by veterans or non-veterans, and there are the people that are occupying a lot of our prisons, and we can minimize that. We can cut down on a lot of expenses in the litigation system, in the court system in general.
Okay. Adriana, finish us up.
Well, I am a sincere advocate of specialty courts, veterans court, mental health court, drug court. I've already taken the 3-day training for drug court, and in my earlier career, I was actually a counselor for people that they were out on parole and probation. So, every case is different. You have to evaluate the facts and everything that's led up to it. But I think it's a very important area that we need to focus on. And in fact, Judge Bell has already approached me and asked me, because she knows how I feel about this in my background, if I would be willing to assist her in some way or to follow through on the drug court. And I've already told her I'm happy to help. I think it's very important.
Perfect. Well, we are actually right at our 30-minute time frame.
John, just out of curiosity.
Go ahead, Freddie. I'm doing my best to keep us on schedule, but
There are civil court and there are split court. How are they assigned to you like cases now? Is that they're like a big box of all the cases, and if you come in late, all the cases are gone and you could go home early? I'm just kidding.
You want to answer?
For district court?
Or any court, how are cases assigned to you
For
guys?
instance, when I applied, it was a mostly criminal department, but when I took the bench, it had turned into civil. So that's,
No. What I mean is, how are cases assigned to you guys?
So they're random,
Just
random,
randomly
okay.
done, but so they're funneled into civil or criminal depending on the department, but they're random.
Okay.
And they are the mythical court program tries to keep things balanced, so each judge has essentially same or similar numbers of active cases at any given point in time, and they periodically reshuffle to try and balance the equation. And
Sometimes it gets unbalanced because they'll move to, ask a judge to remove himself or something, has to go back into the pool until they question whether or not they get one from the other judge. It's kind of, sometimes the judges will pick them up for you. I've had cases where I went in and I've recognized the parties, so I've had to announce that I know the parties, and so then I remove myself, and then another judge will come in my courtroom and sit in my court and handle the case. And so it's just
So no judges are more overworked or has more load cases than the other judges?
well, I think a lot of that has to do with the way they handle their own calendar. You know, if they drag their cases on longer, or because the case has to go on longer, they continue to get cases. It's you know, it's not like when one goes out, one comes in. It's they come in as they are assigned. So
Yeah, in a split reference, sometimes you have a 30, civil trials take longer to resolve than criminal trials. Sometimes you have.
What is the
things-
average caseload for a judge?
Oh boy, I was trying to get us out of here on time. My goodness, Mike.
I can tell you.
Okay, I can
Oh, jeez, Louise.
just 500
We had
times
Well,
57,000 felony cases filed in justice court.
every year.
Well, that was last year. This year,
57,000.
yeah, we're up past that now. We're only in the 8th month. And those in the justice court, the difference between the district court and the justice court, at least in the criminal matters, we hear all of them. Then we make a determination whether or not they're trial worthy to go up to the district court level. And so we cut those down drastically. I mean, they won't see probably maybe 10,000 of those. Maybe, what do you think, John?
Ballpark sounds about right.
Yeah.
1 in 6.
But the civil matters, all the civil matters that are over a certain amount, in justice court, we hear civil trials and civil cases as well. I've sat on civil jury trials. I presided over them. I presided over the bench trials as well. But it's just the amount's different. When it gets over a certain threshold, then it gets to district court, and the district courts handle all of those. So there may be, I don't know what's the number. I mean,
Well, right now, sometimes it's
Really,
greater,
Mark?
but I think anywhere between 1,800 to sometimes many, many more cases. And that also is a function of how you handle each case and how you handle it. I think justice needs to be thorough but efficient, because it's very important. So, but then they'll send you more because that's what we're there to do.
Your
That's our
reward for
job.
being efficient is
That's-
getting more
I know,
work.
But that's
So-
our job. So
Well, that's what I'm saying.
something you embrace.
Oh, well, again, thank you very much.